Some of you, if you're watching this, so we're going to give that a try this week, see how that goes. Do it around 6:30, and you can always watch it later on Facebook. Well, anyway, good evening. Welcome to our live stream evening devotional this evening. Not a whole lot of big news on the COVID-19 front, but of course we have the big news headline of the protests, mainly centered around the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. And tonight, I want to just share with us, just briefly, from the book of the prophet Isaiah and then a little bit from the Gospel of John. And my goal tonight, I hope, is to help us to deal with our fear. There's a lot of that going around. For me and my wife, one of our kind of worst fears, if you will, happened today. We found out that our camp meeting has been canceled in the sense that we will not be meeting physically. We'll be meeting virtually, still working out what that's going to look like. And right now, there's a lot of fear circulating, kind of like a virus does. That comes in certain media reports, definitely social media posts, and unfortunately, from the mouths of some of our politicians, both, and I want to be very clear here, this is all of the above. I have seen, regardless of whether or not there's a D or R next to a politician's name, several things that could be classified as stoking the fire or fear-mongering, understanding that context matters. We need to be, I think, fair and cognizant of that. And sometimes the media doesn't always tell you the whole context. And so I do take some of that with a little bit of a grain of salt, but I don't think it's lost on any one of us that it seems like things are just sort of spiraling out of control. And I would say tonight, what do you say as a follower of Jesus, as a disciple of Jesus? Well, I think there's a couple of things that we can say. One, racism, discrimination is evil, is sinful, is wrong. Violence against anyone is wrong in most contexts. Rioting is really not okay. Unwarranted actions by first responders of any cloth is probably not okay. There's lots of things that aren't okay. One of those things that isn't okay is just stoking the fires of fear. We are, I made a post on social media where I essentially said, look, all the Bible really says is that God's written the end of the story. He hasn't written the chapters in between. And that's important for us to remember. Hear the words of the prophet Isaiah tonight. This is Isaiah 41, verses 8 to 10. Isaiah writes this, "But you, Israel, my servant Jacob, who I have chosen, you descendants of Abraham, my friend, I took you to from the ends of the earth, the farthest corners I called you. I said, you are my servant. I have chosen you and have not rejected you. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand." And then, of course, we have the words in John 16 of Jesus to his disciples. In John 16:33, Jesus says this, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." So I want to ask you tonight, how are you doing with fear? I think it's okay to be afraid right now. I think that's very understandable. I don't think it's cowardice to maybe be a little afraid, a little uncertain about what's going on. Prophet Isaiah reminds the nation of Israel that they are God's chosen people, and we, as heirs to that promise, as followers of Jesus, Paul says, we've been grafted in. We are grafted into that chosen people too. And if you're hearing my voice and you're a follower of Jesus, you've been chosen. You've been chosen to serve. And right now it's kind of hard to know maybe exactly what to do. But there's one thing we can all do, and that's confront fear with our faith. Love can triumph over hate, and wisdom can triumph over what the Bible would call folly. So yeah, I'm gonna, for now anyway, I'm still gonna wear a mask if I go out in any kind of mass gathering, just because I haven't been tested. But I'm not going to let fear of a virus or fear of violence run my life. And you are likely to encounter people out there who are afraid. Maybe you're one of them. And I'm not going to sit here and presume to tell you what you should or shouldn't do. What I am going to tell you is there is a biblical promise where Jesus says, you will have trouble, you will have problems, but remember, I have overcome the world. Take heart, I have overcome the world. Jesus has overcome all of this. Maybe you're tuning into this, I don't know. And maybe you've never entered into a relationship with Jesus Christ. And Jesus is simply sitting and waiting, ready to receive you, no matter what sin you've committed, no matter how bad of a mess your life is. You can come to him and have freedom and salvation and peace that passes all understanding. You see, this is the time for the church. I said this a little bit yesterday, but it bears repeating. To stand up and rise. Now, you might think, that's nice, Pastor, but I live in a small town of Bucyrus, or I live in the small town of Galion, Ohio. Well, last time I checked, if you're watching this, you probably have an internet connection. And while I think we should be wise about what we post on social media and different platforms, we should be wise about what we say and how we present ourselves. It's okay to stand up and say something. To speak against hatred and fear and all these things that come after us. The world is going to be watching us, whether we know it or not. Let's set an example so that we can see God at work. What are those God moments? So we'll be talking about that as we go forward. But remember, do not fear. Jesus says you will have trouble, but amen. Stay safe. Stay healthy. If you do protest, do so safely. And like I said, I'm going to try this at 6:30. I think that works a little better. So I will see you at 6:30. Actually, no, I will not see you. Well, we have a meeting tomorrow night. This is live on camera thought process. I will probably do something that might be pre-recorded. We'll see you tomorrow evening. God bless.